Hello, my name is Javier O'Neill. I'm a 3D artist, and welcome to my video. In this video right here, I am going to go and show you a list of the catalog of the weapons that I created for the game called Chivalry Medieval Warfare. So I'm not quite sure how many actually content I have in their Steam Workshop, but I believe I have around 15 pieces and such. Some of them are sets and some of them are individually weapons and such. So I'm going to go through every class and show every single piece of armor or weapon that I created and give some sort of the thinking, my thoughts when it comes to it. So we'll go ahead and start with the archer. And then for the archer, it was always kind of a pain in the ass to create content for the archer because you had to know how to be able to set up the model in Unreal to animate. So I never actually got around to making a lot of weapons for the archer, but I did make some melee ones. So let's go ahead and go through all these and I can kind of give you the ones I've worked on and to give you an idea. Let's see, javelin, none of that. Nothing there. Heavy javelin. This one right here is it's called the Myrmidon. And this one was inspired by ancient Greek throwing spears. It's supposed to be a bit heavy on the handle and such. And then we have a thick, heavy spear at the end and such. So that's one of the first ones that that's one that I contributed. I believe, I'm not quite sure how these got added to the Steam Workshop, but in one way or another, they've made it there. So let's see. Thrusting dagger. No, didn't do anything there. No, didn't do anything with that. Short sword. Nope. Neither there. Sabers. No cudgels either. And let's see. Okay, one of the other pieces of content that I created was this buckler shield right here. Pretty happy with it, as you can see. It's a lot to do with the round shape. I always felt that the one that they had before didn't have a lot of good shapes on the actual shield itself. So this one has a very thick spherical element on it, and they give you different ways to sort of paint these and such. So naturally, in my head, I think around the time the Avengers was coming out, I wanted to do some patterns that look like Captain America. So as you can see, it's sort of the Captain America shield, even with a star in the center. So that's some of the content that I at least created for archers. Let me see, that's color, none of that, no. So yes, yeah, so the shield is another one. So let's go ahead and move towards the next class, which is sort of the man-at-arms. This is a very light class. Again, I created mostly content for the classes that I enjoyed and such. So this one was one of them. So no, sorry, this one was not one of them. I actually didn't enjoy it. I thought it was rather sort of boring, but let's see. I believe I do have a few here. Let's go ahead and go through all these and see if I can find them. None of them here. North Sword, didn't really do a North Sword. Falcon, not a big fan of the axe. Dane axe, no. Mace, no. Morning Star. Yeah, this is one right here that I did, which was, I like the idea of something that looked a little dwarvish in construction. So as you can see, this mace, this Morning Star itself has a lot of very 90-degree and kind of like sharp angles to it and such. There's not a lot of curve from the element, the hand guard right there at the base of it, which has, as you can see, 6 sides, and down to the star itself. And one of the things, you can't really rather see it, but you probably see it more in first-person shooting. In the first-person mode, I like to do a lot of ornamentation to kind of give an element of really just fine bought weapons and such. So this one is no different. Let's see, short sword, did nothing there. Saber, nothing there. And cudgel, it's kind of a shame of a cudgel because I think they must remove this. One of the ones that I created was just, I called it potato masher. It's just this big hammer looking thing that looks like you can get to mash potatoes with it. Unfortunately, I believe they released it as part of an event now and such, so you can't see it, but I think it's one of my favorite things that I did for the cudgel. At least I like the big square block of wood that's on it. And it's the kind of thing that an archer, for example, would have used if they would have been in combat, and they would have used it to put down their stakes when they're creating an archery line and such. So yeah, when it comes to content, I didn't create much for these classes. So let's see. Let's go ahead and move on to the next class. Let's see what I did. Good. Okay, first and foremost, my helmet right here. Let's go ahead and start from the beginning. Butcher's helmet. This one's based on a classic jousting helmet. Again, I wanted to give something that's a little finer, a little ornamentation. So I went and gave it sort of this floral etching into the helmet itself. Very happy with the overall look of the helmet. I think it looks pretty good. Very nice shape, good metallic. I think that came out that pretty good. Let's see what else. Is there any other helmet here that's mine for this class? No, I believe I created. Let's see. I'm probably gonna have to go and look through these classes because I'm pretty certain that I did different varieties with them and such. So veteran helmet. No, that's I think I probably have to look at the other individual classes because I did 2 types and such. But I'll go ahead and do that. So let's see. Let's go to weapons. Great sword. The first one right here I created Cold Spectre. The inspiration for this one is the weapons used by the Witch King in Lord of the Rings. Kind of wanted to give it very kind of brutal, cold, the kind of look that Frodo would have shit his pants whenever he saw it and such. So that's the main inspiration when it comes to this one. Let's see, claymores. I created 2 for the game. This is the first one based on an old Scottish design, the Gallowglass sword. Pretty happy with that. Kind of like the triangle sword guards and such. And then this one has a Celtic or old Scottish name or something like that, based on kind of like the classic what I call claymore that you would have seen in Jesus Christ, I'm having a brain fart. In Braveheart, yes. And if I'm not mistaken, this sword was supposed to have a story, so you can't see it at this perspective, but the blade also has Damascus steel, which is sort of this kind of curvy, woven kind of steel that was some of the harder ones. So it's kind of give it a little bit of a history to the weapon to kind of get it to look like it's maybe created in the Holy Land for some crusader and such. Very happy with the design. Classic blue colors that kind of go with like Scotland and such. A little bit of gold. Felt it was pretty good. Let's see. Zweihander. No, I never created Zweihander. Spears. Did I ever create a spear? No, I don't think I was. See, I mostly created, like I said, content for stuff that I wanted to play with and such. So let's see. Didn't create a fork. Brandy stock. This one is mine as well. Pretty happy with this one. It's supposed to have if you look at the other designs on this weapon, for example, it looks like it a little bit, kind of a bit flimsy. Maybe not this one and such. Well, I can't really buy that. But mine, I kind of wanted to give it like this more thicker kind of part on the spear blade, and as well created like a big spherical weight on it, so it always gives it a little bit of extra weight for killing and such. Let me see. Bardishes. Did I create no Bardiche? No, I did not. Billhook. Again, one of mine as well. Wanted to give it a very fine look, so as you can see, there's a lot of etching in the blade itself, and not overly complicated and such. I mean, for the most part, like a lot of people this is a medieval game, and a lot of people were creating content for a medieval game that was, of course, supposed to look medieval or whatever. Some people did fantasy, but at least when I created content for this game, I wanted to keep it down to something that was historically accurate. I think that's probably the reason my swords sold particularly well, and I had a lot of them accepted, so I'm very happy about this. Billhook right here kind of shares the same characteristic as halberd that I created, which is the next one right here. This is probably one of the weapons I'm happiest about. As you can see, really nice blade. Tons of heavy etching into the blade of the sword for ornamentation to show this is both a quality of a halberd that quality weapon that would be bought by its owners based on the ornamentation. I believe these 2 right here, the helmet and these, are a set, so it kind of gives you an idea how they're supposed to be joined together. See, pole hammer. Here's another one I created called Adeptus Meleum. Again, one of the other weapons I'm very happy with. You know, all the other pole hammer heads seem a little bit on the small side, so I want to create something that had a little weighty and that have a lot of impact if it came down on something and crushed. Design is mostly my own, but yeah, I just wanted to do something that actually looked really, really particularly brutal when it came to this weapon. So let's see. Short swords, didn't do those. Saber, no. Cudgel, no. War axe, no. So let's go ahead and switch to the other, because some of the helmets and such are based specifically on class and such. So this right here is the other helmet that I created for the Vanguard class. As you can see, this one is a little bit more aerodynamic. Supposed to kind of give you the idea that this thing is just yeah, I think just a little bit more, same kind of premise to the other one, but I like it with a more kind of like the bulby head. I thought that kind of, most of the ones just look like helmets and such, or like big buckets. So let's see, I don't think there's any weapons that are particular. Same for here, Zweihander, fork, billhook, yeah, halberd. Yeah, as you can see, they're different for according to class. So mine was or to faction at least. Oh, well, you can see mine. I guess here you can see mine as well. Pull hammer, yeah, same place. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, the helmet is probably the one thing that's this one unique for this class and such. And again, try to focus on something that looks different, but mostly historical accurate and such. So let's see. I think the next one is, I think the Knight class is the one where I have the most amount of content. So let's go ahead and look through all these and get a look at everything that I've created. So let's see, the helmet right there. That's the Beekeeper's helmet, based on the jousting helmet that I saw. I thought I really liked the alien look to it. I mean, the fact that, I mean, it has a lot of air holes and you can't really see inside the face. You could also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I created it so you could also lift it. But I'm not mistaken. Let me see if that's possible. Beekeepers jousting. Ah, yes. You see, as you can see, two variants. One where you can see with the Beekeeper's helmet on top, and then one that you can keep it closed. Let's see. Yeah. That's not mine. That's content. Let's see. Again, this is another one right here I created as part of a set. Wanted to give something historically accurate, a little bit of leather in it, kind of very sharp, sturdy look to it and such. Winter helmet. This one right here is probably one of the ones that I'm most happiest about. Has a very thick, sturdy look, has a crest in the center based on medieval designs. Again, I think this is probably one of my bigger sellers. And yeah, as you can see, just very, like I said, I try to keep to historically accurate. And the Winter Soldier is based on, of course, the Avengers at the time. So you can see a lot of the influence of the Avengers on me when I'm putting these on, or at least the names and such. So that's the helmet. So that's Winter helmet. Closed, open. Let's see, the crab nose bassinet. That's the other one that I created. Let's see, Beekeeper's jousting. Jousting open, that's pretty good, but you know what, I'm just going to keep that one to close because I really like the look. So let's see, let's go ahead and go towards the weapons. Again, double axe, never really worked with it too much. Pole axe, never did anything much with that. Bearded axe, nothing as well. Warhammer, this is probably the first bit of one of the first bits of content that was created for the game. Again, historically accurate, at least in terms of design, and you can't see it much, but there's a lot of etching, which is just part of like the way I design stuff. Let's see, Maul. Let's see, did I create anything for this? Sometimes I forget what I created. Let's see. No, this is just a big hammer. I don't believe I created one for here. Grand Mace. Again, this one right here, one of mine. You can tell from the etching and the look. I mean, frankly, this one I was inspired by the look of the mace on Sauron from Lord of the Rings. I really like the heavy, multi-sided grand mace look to it and such. Add a little bit of color to kind of differentiate a little bit compared to the one by Sauron. Let's see, longsword. Did I create a longsword? I'm not sure that I did. No, I didn't create that. Let's see, Sword of War. This one I created is called the Winter Soldier, and it's part of the Winter Soldier set. So if you would have bought this, for example, you would have gotten these two combined. I believe, again, Lord of the Rings was a big inspiration for me when it came to this one. I think it's based on sort of like just a standard Gondorian longsword, nothing particular complicated, just simple design, keep it to historically accurate. So let's see. Broadsword, that's mine. Falchion, didn't create any of those. Norse sword, let's see, didn't create one. Throwing axe, didn't create any of those. am I missing? I feel like I'm missing stuff. Double axe. Messer. That's what I'm missing, yeah. Okay, this right here is one of my first swords that I created for the competition. Sadly, it wasn't the first one accepted, but this one is supposed to, again, be a weapon with a little bit of history. So this one is sort of like it's a massive messer, which is like a heavy, thick two-handed sword. And this one right here is, the idea would be that it's a sword that was taken off a Saracen from the Holy Land, sort of one on combat, and it's supposed to be just a large, what do you call those weapons? I always have a brain fart when I have to do these and such. Yeah, basically a large Saracen weapon, falchion, I believe, or yeah, whatever. But anyway, the idea was, as you can see on the blade itself, it has the Damascus sword kind of pattern into it, so it's supposed to be a very intricate looking sword. And on top of that, I created a second messer, which is not that one. It is, let's see, Headhunter. Again, this one I wanted to make it look like a massive just eating knife. It has that cool little sword guard over the top and the center, very thick, destructive looking weapon. I'm really particularly happy when it comes to it. Let's see, heavy flail, nothing there. Mace, nice. Morning Star, like I said, the one that I've had before. Boom, the one I created. Let's see. Nothing really there. And I'm going to go ahead and switch to the factions because some of the stuff that I created was just for one faction or another. So when it comes to helmet, this is probably one of my favorite helmets. I wanted to do something that just looked like a big bucket. I mean, and literally that's why it's called the bucket helmet. And again, when it came to it, I like to give different varieties. So I like to do an open version, closed version. Pretty happy when it comes to that. Let's see, anything else that I made? Grunt. What is this one? Ah, yeah, another one that I created as well. Again, based part of a set that's specific for this particular faction, but yeah, something that I wanted to create that was looked different, accurate, brutal, deadly, and let's go do everything just to make sure I didn't leave out anything. No. Armor, that doesn't matter. Yeah, let me see. Double axe, no. Warhammer is the same. Maul, didn't create one for there. Sword of War, Messer. But yeah, I mean, that's practically it. I don't think it's anything else. Maybe I might have missed a thing here or there, but I definitely created a fuckload of content for this game. I'm very proud of it. I think it looks really good, accurate, snazzy looking armor. So thank you so much, and yeah, adios.